So a week ago, I got a phone call from a producer from Deutsche Welle Africa, and she was inviting me for an interview to share my thoughts about the challenges that faces a modern man in the 21st century. All right, and so I was flattered to be thought of as a modern man. Can you imagine? So we taped it this Saturday. When it airs, I'll make sure to share it with you, at least online. And so, while I try, even on these conversations we have here with you, Eric's stories, not to be subjective, I also try to give a healthy balance between objectivity and subjectivity so that I get that sweet spot of authenticity, all right? So, I'm not speaking from a very withdrawn standpoint. And so when I was making my way for the interview, I was thinking about the challenges most men I know about from my reading and even conversations have. I mean, there are myriad of challenges that the modern man faces, from unemployment to financial abuse to domestic violence to infertility, you name them. But then, even in all of that, I was thinking about Eric's challenges. What are my challenges as a modern man? I'm modern, right? So I've often grappled with the issue around commitment vis-a-vis loss of freedom. Okay, because marriage requires you that you're committed, and even relationship require you that you're committed. And loss of freedom, not so much that I fool around, but just my dreams and aspirations. I mean, if I want to leave and go to New York and do an interview, I'll have to be answerable to my wife, and then I'll explain how long I'm going for, and yada yada. And I often grapple with that. I'm just like, are you really ready for that? And the answer is often no. And so I've not bothered with a relationship. But be that as it may, I've been thinking about things women don't understand about men, and vice versa. So I want you and I to have a conversation today about just that. Things that you as a woman probably are watching this and you're like, I'll never get these about guys. Oh my God, why are they so weird? Why are men like these again? Like, sincerely, seriously? So in my thinking around this conversation, I thought to jot down a few things. Some of my own, and some from my reading, and some from conversations I've had. The other day, I was meeting a friend of mine to have coffee. He's a dad twice. His wife just gave birth. And so I was asking him what his experience is in that regard. Because, I mean, we are peers in age, and he got married and got first baby, and now their second child. And he knows me pretty well. So I was sharing with him some of my concerns. And he told me one of the things he's realized, at least in his relationship, they need to be accountable. Like, whilst single, he would switch off his phone ordinarily and just mind his day. He was saying, as a married man, it's practically impossible to do that. You could, but very rarely have your me time. And he was telling me that I'd be in a lot of trouble if I don't change from my habit of talking to you at 9 o'clock, and then if you call me again at 9:30, my phone is off. I'm going to do Eric. So he says accountability is very important. And so I want to share some of the things. And if the thoughts you have about the differences you don't quite immediately understand about men doesn't feature in my list, please feel free and make it interactive. You could share your thoughts on my comment section. And if you're new here, my name is Eric. This is Eric Stories. Every day, we try and make sense of difficult conversation. Please subscribe to my YouTube channel for more of this stuff. And there's absolutely so much more where this came from. So what is it, as a man or a woman, you have tried and failed to understand about the opposite sex? One of the things I've had conversations about with my intimates, male intimates, is a question women keep asking about what men are thinking. I'm sure you've had it or you've asked it, right? What are you thinking? What are you thinking? What's in your mind? What are you thinking? So this question sometimes bothers some men, because women don't seem to be satisfied with the answer nothing. They're just like, no, tell me what you're thinking. And so in my reading, I've found that women, upon asking this question, want to be told what is going through your head all the time. If I'm wrong or you have a different perception as a woman watching this, please share your mind why you asked this question. Some women ask to check where you stand with them in the relationship, and if you perhaps are thinking of someone else. Ultimately, women ask this question to use these and try and know if you're all in or you're just peripheral. They want to know if you're committed, Philip. That's why they ask. You can give another reason. Okay, so you needn't be confused about this question. If she asks, just tell her what you're thinking. You're thinking about Messi and the transfer. It's not about cheating, honey. The second thing that has caused a bit of misunderstanding, at least from my conversations, especially with a lot of women tend to think, not all, but most, think that men are not emotional or sensitive at all. You know, a lot of women think as a giant brick without any emotions, and that is not true. I and many other men feel very deeply and have deep, intense feelings about myriad of issues around love, life, money, sex. We do have feelings. Now, when you're nonchalant about our feelings as human beings, it causes very hurtful comments. Sometimes I've come and I'm trying to open up to you in a relationship, or your husband comes and tries to open up with you, and then you tell them things like, man up, when he shares his emotions or even problems, you know. Men too, if you understand, need some TLC. We need that listening ear and you paying attention, you know. It's very important to men. And yes, we have feelings. So if you're confused about that, please don't. And I've heard horror stories even from my friends about things women do in the bedroom. Like a woman can completely manhandle you, like almost try to yank out your equipment because maybe some dead grandmother told them that it's just wood on a rock. Joanne, we have feelings. Third thing, men are not like women. Please understand this. They don't usually have the emotional support y'all women have, okay? Women have support systems. I mean, if something was happening to a woman, something heinous, at the dial of a button, 6 to 10 of her girlfriends will show up with wine, embracing her. Some will be in the kitchen doing all this and telling her, sweetie, it's going to be okay. That short man, I knew it. You don't deserve such. That guy is vertically challenged. And that's why you couldn't. Me, when I meet him, I'll give him a piece of my mind. Men don't have that support system. We just don't. We don't roll like that as boys, all right? So when I come to you and I want to vent or talk or just to put my guard down and share some problems I might have, don't turn me away. Don't tell me to go to my friends. You know, sometimes maybe you are the only support system I have. So please understand that. We are not like you. We aren't like you. Men, our relationships are very non-participatory and very removed. I mean, we'll grab a beer here and cheers and watch Messi, and nobody's ever going to talk about things that are important to us. You bet a guy is not going to share the way his tank is empty and he cannot give his wife a baby. He'll just die with that thing with himself. So when he comes and shares with you, please be more cordial, be welcoming. Don't be like, you go talk to your boys. Sometimes you are our boy and our wife. So, Quinta, we don't notice even care about close to 99% of the things you deem as your insecurities. We really don't. We rarely notice or care for your big toe. You know that toe you keep trying to hide when you're with us? We don't care. Or your stretch marks or your bad hair day. We don't care. I was in this relationship years ago and I called this woman and said, let's do lunch. I'm around where she was. And she's like, I cannot meet you like this. Oh! She was horrified. I said, like what? And she's like, oh, my hair is unkempt. And I was just like, just tie it at the back and then we go. She couldn't meet me. So we don't care. Really, we don't. I don't know a man alive in my circle of friends who are very intimate to me who go like, oh, you know, that stretch mark really put me off. No, most guys don't care. And if they do, you can never be right for the wrong person. So just move along. Leave that weirdo. Don't read too closely into what we say. This is a big issue in my relationship, it was at least. Not all our comments require pseudo-intellectual jabs. One time this woman was telling me, in my last relationship, my tummy was a bit generous. And she's like, you know, babe, if you just did rollers, your tummy would be so flat and you look so cool. I was like, yes, and your arms as well, if you'd work on your arms. So in that spirit of conversation, I said something like, oh, babe, by the way, when I met you, yo, same a flat tummy. I'm the one getting used to you. But you shouldn't be so hard on those burgers. They'll do you in. Oh. Same as spoiler. She went and told her mother to check her. Next time I was meeting her, she was like, I was asking my mom if I have a double chin or if my stomach is flappy. And she's just like, she looks, oh, you look okay, my daughter. So why are you telling me? Don't read too much into all the comments. Don't take that stuff so seriously. Sometimes, we don't always objectify you. And we don't, have a less view of who you are as a human being. We completely respect you, all right? Until and unless we don't, all right? But just don't read too closely into all comments. Sometimes it's just a comment. It really is just a comment. We've not thought too deep about your insecurities to pair it up with a comment that will hurt you. Sawa and Jerry. Okay? Other thing that causes misunderstanding in my mind, we don't pick up on hints at all. Please, we don't. Talk to us if you want or need anything. We also don't know what you want unless you tell us, Just say it. Say, I don't like telling you I want flowers because then you buy me flowers and then I feel like you only bought it because I wanted flowers. How can you just maybe be surprising me every twice a month or thrice a month or once a month with, say, chocolate and flowers? I like those. Just when you're shopping, just randomly buy them. Don't let me remind you. I don't feel loved when I remind you. Say it. Say it. If he's into you, he's going to adjust. Okay? It's very important. One of these things I read this woman, I forget the book, and she was saying that a lot of women from generations past were always castigated when they would voice the things they want as it pertains to even money. And so they feel some type of way. Say you'd go, you're on a drive-through and you're like, babe, I'm feeling peckish. I want to grab something to bite. And then you say, babe, do you want something? Oftentimes, most women feel like, hey, I don't want to impose. So they say no. And this woman was saying, most cases, just buy her favorite thing and give it to her anyway. And I adopted that and it does work. So you'll be like, okay, those are your wraps and your shake. It's like, I didn't want a wrap. And then you drive for 5 minutes, she starts chewing on it. So it's better that way because they don't want to impose. Some are not as forthright. They will not tell you, I want pizza. So just buy it. If you know she likes the peri-peri, get her the peri-peri. Okay? But things outside of food that you need us to know, please let us know. We are not mind readers. Sawa. That's another huge misunderstanding. We can enjoy your company in silence. That I'm quiet doesn't mean I'm upset about anything, Agnes. No, I'm not. I'm just chilling. I'm in my zen, quiet. I love you, all right? I'm just not talking right now. Okay? And then finally, someone said, men don't want nothing but sex, but they just don't want everything else without sex. So it's true that men have a monstrous appetite for sex. Most men. So in your many things that you're including in the relationship, please make room for sex as well, so that you don't have all these things without sex. Did I leave anything out? What are some of the misunderstandings you grew up with? Let me know. Good evening.